Welcome to Relational Effectiveness. My name is John Hoerauf, and I'm sitting in for my wife, Lynn. And I want to just start out by thanking the Strategic Advisor Board for sponsoring these videos. In yesterday's video, I started going over the diagram to review authentic motivation, and we looked at the lower order motivations. Today, we're going to move to the rest of the chart and start looking at the higher order motivations. So it's going to take a couple of days to look at these. But first, we're going to talk about toxic motivations. Now, you want to remember, higher order motivations supersede the lower order motivations in the same way that the law of aerodynamics supersedes the law of gravity. In other words, like I mentioned last time with the donut shop, if I go on a diet, but then I'm smelling all these donuts and all these kind of things, that can kind of take over and make me want to do something I didn't want to do. Or it could be that maybe I get really excited about something at work and my first thought is to go celebrate. So I think, well, I can start my diet next week. Or it could be a scary thing that happens or a sad thing that happens. There's something that kind of comes in and supersedes my desires and my gut level strength to try and make this happen. And then that motivation, remember that that's a force that pushes me in a certain direction. It tries to control my will. And so there's something there with that motivation that's behind the scenes that's getting me to move in a direction I don't necessarily want to move. So as we look at this, and we'll start, these are both higher order motivations. There's kind of two ways that it can come. Both of them supersede the lower order. But obviously these toxic motivations, they're ones that aren't favorable for us. They're the ones that are going to get us to do those things that we don't want to do. And so what I want to look at with this is with a toxic motivation, they tend to derail those lower order motivations. They can come in a lot of different ways. We're going to take some time to look deeper at the toxic motivations to kind of see what's there, to look at the different ways that they come, and to give you a chance to maybe self-evaluate to see what some of yours might be. But in this general sense, they can be false names that we're given as we grow up. It might be that I'm not good at sports, I'm not good at math. It might be that I'll never be successful, or I'm not smart enough, pretty enough, those kinds of things. So these false names that we get, inaccurate identities that we have, that it's kind of falls into that category of that's not for the likes of me. Other people have good luck. Other people have successful jobs or good marriages or lots of friends, but that just doesn't work for me. There's something wrong with me that makes that happen. And what that does is that's going on in the background. Like you see here, they're loud, but they're in the background. I use that idea of if you live near power lines. They make a lot of noise, but after a while, you don't even pay attention to them. Or if you have ringing in your ears and it goes on for a long, long time, after a while, you don't think about it. Or even a sore shoulder or neck, something like that. You get used to those kinds of things. And so they're very loud. They're there, but they're in the background and you don't really pay attention to them. That law of gravity where if you drop something, you just know it's going to go down. You don't ever question gravity. You don't ever question these belief systems that you have. And what we need to do is dig into those and find out what they are so that we can work to change them to allow us to move toward our authentic motivation. But what we're looking at with these toxic motivations, these are things that are here that have come in different ways. They may have been here a long time, and they're really hard for us to see. And with a toxic motivation, what I want you to start thinking about, even when I mention negative names, what things came to mind for you? What things did you start to think about that I always struggle with this? Maybe it's you're trying to quit smoking. You're trying to start doing something positive, stop doing something negative. Maybe you keep getting with the wrong group of friends. What is it for you that keeps sucking you back in? And you see, what they do is they have a twist to them, because once that motivation pushes your will in a certain direction that you don't want to go, then it comes back kind of with an attack on you're a loser, you're a weak person, you can't do anything right, and all these kind of accusations come in and they kind of pile up on your identity and make it that much harder to make the changes in the future. So you want to start thinking about being aware of, we don't want to dwell on this stuff, but you do want to be aware of those toxic motivations that you struggle with. And I'd encourage you just kind of start journaling. We'll look at this a little bit deeper, but just kind of jot down some of the thoughts that come to you when you're trying something new. For instance, I was in a meeting with some of my coworkers, and I started observing myself because I was getting really quiet in this meeting. And I realized that I was having thoughts that I'm not as good as they are. I'm kind of a phony in this position. They're going to find me out. And as I was hearing those thoughts, I saw myself getting quieter and quieter. And when I changed and thought, wait a second, that's not true. I do have gifts and talents. And so I started seeing myself in a different light, and I started adding things to the meeting. My feelings and everything started changing and coming along with the new thoughts that I was having. But it was only because I was being observant and paying attention to those thoughts that I was able to make that change. So that's what I want you to kind of start thinking about as we're moving in this direction. Next time, we're going to look at the other side of the higher order motivations, the authentic motivations, and see how we can start moving in toward that direction. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.